Hello, Huskies. It's Dr. Sawyer, and I'm joined by Ms. Saba. And in this video, we are going to talk about grading during remote learning at Hamilton, which started on April 6th, and it will go until the end of this school year. Husky. In this video, we are going to explain and share with you our grading policy for the rest of the school year, what you as a student should do during remote learning, why your learning is important, and what will happen next year in the school year 2021, and how you can ask us questions about learning and grading. Husky. All right, Huskies, so I want to go over our belief about grading during remote learning. We know that this is a very challenging time for our students and families during the COVID-19 pandemic. We know that learning conditions are very different right now for many of our students. We know that right now we all need to do our best to focus first on our health and on supporting each other. And with our learning in the time that we have between now and the end of the school year, we should all be doing our best to learn and prepare for next school year. Your learning right now will help us build your schedule and your assignments for next school year and will help you be ready as much as possible for your next grade level. We are all very proud of all of your hard work during this time. Husky. So let me explain how grading will work during remote learning. First of all, you might be wondering about where your quarter 3 grades are. Well, your quarter 3 grades were interrupted by the pandemic and stopped. We are now moving on to remote learning. Your quarter 3 grades you had before we evacuated the school due to the international health crisis will remain in draft form as feedback, not final grades. It's important that that happens because not all of our students can engage in this work, and now we have moved on into remote learning. So again, those quarter 3 grades were stopped and interrupted, and so they will remain in draft form as only feedback. So now during remote learning time, you will receive feedback from your teachers on the most important learning standards to prepare you for next school year. Your teachers will watch your progress during remote learning and indicate to you if you are ready for next year's standards. In fact, teachers will specifically let you know if you are exceeding the learning standard, meeting the standard, or not yet meeting the standard. A way to think about a standard is a learning target. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. You will get a progress update in early May and at the end of the school year from your teachers. Husky. Let's talk about what descriptive feedback means. So for each of your classes, your teachers will determine the most important areas of learning that you should be doing between now and the end of this school year during remote learning. And they will let you know in each of those areas of learning, which are called standards, if you exceed the standard. It means you are very ready for the next school year in this area of learning. Or if you meet the standard, which means you are ready for the next school year in this area of learning. Or if you are not yet meeting the standard, which means that you will need to continue your learning in that area next school year to catch up in this area of learning. So for students who are not yet meets, Hamilton will be providing review work and sessions to help you catch up next year. Husky.
Hi Huskies, this is Miss Saba, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit thinking about what you're doing during remote learning and thinking about the descriptive feedback that you're going to be earning and receiving from your remote learning tasks. The first thing I want to tell you is that it is so important to practice self-care. Please remember to stretch, to move, to relax, to breathe, to take that deep breath and some time for yourself. Every day, you do need to check into your classes for attendance. So your teachers have that link posted on their Schoology pages. So green is Monday and Tuesday, purple Wednesday and Thursday, and Hamily Reads is on Friday. And if you forgot to sign in for class, it's totally understandable. That does happen. Please email your teachers on Schoology and let them know. Complete your weekly assignments for your class, okay? So if you're not understanding an assignment, please reach out for help. You can attend Google Meet sessions with your teachers. You can call your teachers if you have their Google Voice phone number. You can call them during their office hours, which are 10 to noon every day, and then also 3 to 4. You can email your teachers through Schoology. So it's really important that you're completing those weekly assignments and you're talking to your teachers about your learning. If you're not understanding, let us know so that we can help you, because we want you to meet those learning targets. Join a Husky virtual club on Fridays for fun. Remember, clubs are not academic. They are meant to be fun for you to connect with friends, teachers, and classmates. And then we really want you to read each day for 30 minutes. So you can take an AR test on Friday. It doesn't have to be every Friday. It could be every other Friday if you're reading long books or if you need more time for reading. So during remote learning, this is how you meet your learning targets. Let's talk about why learning and feedback matter so much right now during remote learning. As a student, this helps you keep on track for your learning and your mastery, and that's of those learning targets. And it shows us and you the effort you have contributed to your own learning. It helps you as a student know what learning targets and objectives you have met and what learning you still need to do for each content area. And we know that it's okay if you don't meet your learning targets right now. We will help you get caught up in the fall. Just hard work and do the best that you can. Also, this helps us build your class schedule for next year. So when we're looking at your standards and whether you've met those standards or exceeded those standards, that will tell your teachers what we need to think about for your classes in the fall. As a guardian or as a parent, this feedback and the learning that's happening during remote learning is really important because it provides congruency and consistency. It helps your students stay on track. It also will show and tell you about your students' on-track learning for grade level targets. So whether or not your student is meeting those grade level expectations and standards. Also, it helps you know what learning levels your student will be ready for in the fall of 2020. So it gives you an idea of where your student may be accelerated or needing extra support or being right on target. So now we're going to go through some frequently asked questions. And these are questions that we've heard from our community members and that we've really been thinking about in terms of how we can best support you all as our scholars and our community. So the first question is, can my student complete missing assignments from quarter 3 in order to improve that grade? The answer to that question is no, they cannot. So if a student has, let's say, 2 missing assignments from quarter 3 from back in March, they cannot complete those assignments and receive credit on them to improve their quarter 3 grade. Okay, so that grade is halted, it is stopped. It is used as a feedback grade, not a final grade. And so scholars should focus right now on completing the assignments from remote learning so that they can earn descriptive feedback on their standards. But they cannot complete missing assignments from quarter 3 in order to improve a quarter 3 grade. Dr. Sawyer?
Thank you, Ms. Saba. And that was really well said. Those quarter 3 grades were interrupted by the international health crisis and had to be stopped. And they are only draft feedback to students. Not all of our students can engage in that opportunity. And so we had to stop. They were interrupted and we had to stop those grades and move on to remote learning. What does descriptive feedback look like, or what will that sound like for my student? So throughout remote learning, teachers will be giving you feedback on the assignments that you submit and on your learning. And that can look a lot of different ways. For example, it might be that a teacher says, you really need to practice the order of operations and review that. Then throughout the remote learning time in early May and at the end of remote learning this school year, you will get more formal descriptive feedback on your progress in each of the most important learning areas in each content. Like we talked about before, that will be if you are exceeding, that means really ready for next school year in that area. Meeting, if you are ready for next school year, or not yet meeting, which means you need to do more reviewing and practice next school year to be ready.
Thank you, Dr. Sawyer. That was a great answer for what descriptive feedback looks like and how that will sound. And scholars, when you look for that descriptive feedback in Schoology, you can find that feedback in your assignment. Your teacher might write back to you in the assignment you submitted on Schoology. Your teacher may provide that descriptive feedback as part of the learning score, the target score that you receive on the standard. And so that might be an E, an M, or an NM. And so you can see the indicator there. In Schoology, teachers will be working to make sure that some of that feedback is provided through a mastery tab. And so students should be able to see that when they go in and you look at your grades for your classes. If you would like to know how the student finds this feedback in Infinite Campus, I can tell you right now that I don't know the answer to that question yet. So please just use Schoology. We will have more answers for Infinite Campus towards the end of the year. If you're struggling to get onto Schoology, or you don't know where to find your grades on Schoology, please email your teachers, and I will speak from myself right now. I will do the best that I can to get you a video on how to find your grades in Schoology if you don't know, okay? Parents and guardians, if you are not yet connected to Infinite Campus, please let our community liaison know so that we can help you out, get you connected, and so that you can be partnered with your student's Schoology account so you can see that descriptive feedback. Dr. Sawyer?
Thank you, Ms. Saba. If high schools can give grades, why can't we at middle school? So middle school is different from high school in that middle school is all about preparing you to move to the next grade level, preparing you to do as much learning as possible. High school still does that, but they also have to think about credits for college readiness and credits for graduation. And so many high schools may be doing it differently because they have to think about those credits for graduation, which is different from middle school. Turn it back to Ms. Saba.
Thank you, Dr. Sawyer. So we had a question about what impact will this kind of remote learning and descriptive feedback have on 8th graders getting into accelerated or honors courses next year in high school? So the answer to that question is we have asked for a note to be put on quarter 3 grades, and there will be an indicator that those grades and this feedback is related to an international health crisis. And so the impact will be those learning targets and the standards, the descriptive feedback. We will pass that information on to 9th grade teachers and to high schools as best as we can. So that is why it is so important to continue doing your learning and submitting your assignments and getting strong descriptive feedback from your teachers. Dr. Sawyer?
Thank you, Ms. Saba. And that goes nicely into the last frequently asked question. Will I be promoted or move on to the next grade level if I am not yet meets in a learning area? And so the answer is yes. We have to all think about grading and learning a little bit differently right now. And so we want to make sure that all of our students are supported. And so right now, everybody should be focusing on doing the best that you can, learning as much as you can to prepare yourself the most for the next grade level. But next year, we're going to do a lot to support our students who may not have been able to meet the standard or are not yet meets in a learning area. For example, we are talking about having review sessions, having special makeup sessions next school year for students who are not yet meets, so that we're still moving on to the next grade level, but we are also going to have to do review and extra practice with students who are not yet meeting. So yes, we will all move on, but if you are not yet meets, we're going to have to work more with you to get you caught up and ready for those next grade level standards.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Sawyer.
Thank you, Ms. Saba. These are great questions and they're important for all of us to talk about. So let's talk about if you have more questions. So one of the next pieces that you should have received or will receive is a letter that will come to you. And this week it should be coming in English, Spanish, and Arabic that goes over this information. We also will have a live stream session, question and answer. A live stream question and answer session for you on Thursday of this week. So that would be Thursday, April 23rd at 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's 10 to 11. Please be sure to watch Schoology for the login information because we will be putting how to get to that. We'll put that in Schoology for you. We will also put that in School Deets, and we hope to have it on our website so that you can submit questions and listen to our answers through that live stream on Thursday of this week. You can also work with our community liaison, Carolyn Leahy, and her email is there. And of course, you can reach out to me, to Ms. Saba, to Ms. Victor, to Ms. Shear, to your team of people who support you at Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
To all Huskies out there and all families, that this is a really different and challenging time for a lot of us. We know that some of this feels and looks different with grading, but we're going to all get through this together. We are in this together. We are stronger together. We're going to do our best to learn as much as possible and be ready for the next school year. But most importantly, we're going to support each other along the way. I wish you and your families health and safety in these times. Thank you for paying attention. And Ms. Saba, thank you for being a part of this and all of your hard work.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sawyer. Huskies, take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you very soon.